We're very lucky today to have with us Mayerland Harris, who is, as Steve said, Group Vice President for Talent at H-E-B, a grocery chain that is cherished by Texans in a way that most folks outside the state can't imagine. Customers love the brand, so do employees, whom H-E-B calls partners. Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much these days in Texas, but they love Willie Nelson, they love barbecue, and they love H-E-B. Back earlier this year, when March Madness was underway, some of my colleagues at Texas Monthly decided it would be fun to do our own kind of bracket. And so we did a brand bracket, and we had all, Texans love their homegrown brands. And we had Southwest Airlines, and we had Big Red and Dr. Pepper, Bluebell, and the winner by a furlong was H-E-B. So favorite brand in Texas. So Mayerland, what's H-E-B's secret?
Well, it's a secret. I can't share that.
We won't tell anybody.
We'll just keep it between us.
Yeah.
Honestly and truly, it is the partners. Like you said, we call all of our employees partners, and that's because we are a family, and lots of people can, get the same products we have the same supply chain, have the same technology, but the one thing that you really can't replicate are the people and how they feel about their store, their community, and the state of Texas. That's really the secret sauce.
So it's take care of your employees and they'll take care of your customers.
I think it's more than just take care of your employees. I think it's care about your employees and treat them with respect and give them ownership in something that's bigger than just a job.
H-E-B has really stiff competition. I think many people don't understand how competitive the grocery industry is, and it's really thin margins, and you've got competition on the high end from Whole Foods, and you've got competition, in the discount part of the market from Walmart and others, and yet H-E-B has more profit. What's that metric? Craig's always citing
it's a penny's business.
Profit per square foot than either of those, while delivering superior benefits, better training, what else? What am I forgetting? Profit sharing for pretty much everybody who works there full time. So how does it do that? How does it do both of those things? It seems to spend a lot more per employee and still deliver more profit per square foot.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. We've been doing this for a long time. So H-E-B was started in 1905 by a woman, Florence, right here in Texas.
So it should be F-E-B, right?
It really should be, yeah. And and women rule. I'm not supposed to say that. And so when you think about how we started, it is a penny's business. I mean, retail does not have the margins that a lot of organizations here, even in Austin, have. When you think about the fundamentals of giving Texans what they want and providing it in a very unique way, hopefully everyone here shops at H-E-B, right? Yes. That's the right answer. You can just look in the parking lot and look at the difference between, there are so many customers that come in. So a lot of it is based off volume. Mm-hmm. And back to our partners and how they treat the customers and the products that we have that are very unique for Texans. So if you think about it, other companies are national-based companies. We're right here in Texas, so we believe we know what Texans want. Our products are fresh because we do source a lot of products from here in Texas and in Mexico, and that pays off.
I've been fortunate to spend some time with Charles Butt, and when I asked him this same question, he said what you said, but there was one additional thing that he said, which is that we work very hard to automate everything that can and should be automated. Mm-hmm. And so that's behind the scenes, but we're very careful not to automate that which cannot and should not be automated, which is the relationship with the customer. So I wonder if you see that as threatened at all by the growth of things like automated checkout, which you have at some of your stores. Are you losing that connection with the customer?
I don't believe so. So if you think about it, we still offer the full breadth, and we really want to serve all Texans. So some Texans actually prefer to check out their own groceries. Some do not. But you don't see all of our front end covered up by self-checkout. We give folks the options, and really it comes from our customers. So our customers told us they'd like to have these options. And so we make sure we have the quick check, we have the big check for if you want to have 2 baskets full of groceries, we welcome that as well. Or if you want to have your self-checkout. And so we just try to provide the customer what they want, what they're looking for.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Charles Butt, and this is the shameless promotion segment of the program, Texas Monthly just published our latest book 2 days ago called Lone Stars Rising. And this is celebrating our 50th anniversary. So it's the 50 Texans who have most transformed the state over the last half century, and prominent in it is Charles Butt, appropriately so. Thank you. So, available at fine booksellers everywhere. So a key part of HEB's culture is to pitch in after natural disasters. And you really don't see as much of that from, I think, some of your competitors. That's expensive. How does that benefit HEB?
Well, frankly, we live in Texas, we care about Texas, and it's just the right thing to do. We don't look at it as we're trying to profit off the marketing or put our name up there. A lot of the things that we do, we don't even advertise at all. We don't tell anyone about. But when you live here, and these are your neighbors, and they're our partners too. So, we have 140,000 partners that live right here in Texas. It's their families as well. So when we think about it, we think we're taking care of family. If something happens in your family, you go help out that cousin, that uncle, and that's what we do. And we know that the number one thing that people need in a disaster to clean up are all the items that we sell in the grocery store. Many people lose everything in the refrigerator, right? Mm-hmm. It goes bad. They need the grocery store in the neighborhood to help them get back up on their feet. And so we pride ourselves in being a first responder to a lot of these things because it's the right thing to do, not for a profit, not to get any accolades, but because we're helping our community.
Yeah. When we were backstage, I was talking with Mayerland about this Netflix series that a friend had recommended to me. I don't think it was very widely seen. Anyone here see Messiah, any of the series Messiah on Netflix? There was an episode there where a tornado wipes out a Texas town. And immediately you see the HEB trucks pulling up and setting up tents and delivering water and so forth. So that's cinema verite right there. During the Arctic storm, this is one of my favorite HEB stories, one we reported at Texas Monthly. During the Arctic storm, the Leander store, just north of here, was packed with people shopping, and then the electricity went out. And they were able to get lights on, but couldn't get the cash registers working. And you know how that would go at pretty much any other grocery chain. The way it went at HEB is the manager came out and very loudly announced to everybody, just take your groceries and leave. But please share some of it with the people in the parking lot who are waiting in line to get in. Now, how do you inculate a culture where the manager feels empowered to do that? He gave away tens of thousands of dollars of groceries.
Not even sure how much, right?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. That man is Gary Anderson. I know some of you are from Austin, and Gary Anderson was my first leader at HEB when I worked at the store in Cedar Park. So I've known him for over 30 years. A wonderful man. That's not a training class. That's not a policy. He did that because it was the right thing to do. I think sometimes we just have to think about, in the big picture things, we weren't going to be able to sell the groceries anyway, right? The refrigeration was down. So what is the right thing to do? People had their carts full with groceries. Were we going to ask everyone to put it back or to leave it there? They needed those items. It wasn't their fault that the registers were down. And so I think a lot of times we just embolden people to do what's right, as if it was your family.
Yeah. How is it that HEB began preparing for COVID 2 months before the federal and state government?
So that is an excellent question. We always try to stay prepared for almost anything that comes up. So in Texas, as you know, and I lived in Houston for over 16 years, almost every major catastrophe, every hurricane comes through there. So we have this system of when something horrific happens in the state and how we're going to respond to it. And we legitimately are considered by the state of Texas a first responder. I mean, we have that certification because we do go in and try to help out. So we're always running drills. We have a whole department that's focused on that for any major catastrophe. Now, of course, with this one, we had not experienced anything like this before. So we learned a lot, and a lot of it was, okay, what are we going to do today? And we had to shift and pivot very quickly. But we do have an infrastructure that really does work on any time a major disaster comes, so we can mobilize and get into action really quickly.
We covered this at the time at Texas Monthly, and one of the intriguing things to me is that even though H-E-B does a great job of sourcing as much as it can source in Texas, it has, part of its supply chain is in China.
Yes.
And that's where it first heard about it and paid attention to it. I mean, hearing about it is one thing because, you've got a lot of noise in the air at all times, but it was like, no, we need to pay attention to this. This could easily spread.
Yes.
Let's start thinking about it now. But they were listening to their supply chain in China.
Absolutely. And, everyone was hearing things, but you're right, the supply chain got hit first. But it wasn't just about the product. It was like, what are all the other implications that can come from this? Mm-hmm. And so just running scenarios in case something bad happened. And of course, it was much worse than we even thought.
Yeah. Now, have y'all had any issues around remote work at H-E-B? Of course, most of your partners, I think, safe to say that's not an option. They have to be in the store. But you do have a headquarters. You have office workers. How is that playing out for y'all?
So, our stores and our transportation logistics, that is the number one meat and potatoes of our business. So those folks never, of course, they had to go to work, as you said. Everyone else, we really feel like, is support for the stores. That is what our role is support. We also, there are no cash registers in the corporate office. So we never really closed our offices, but we also didn't have an expectation. So we told people, you need to do what's best for you and your family during that period of time. And so we didn't say hybrid, but that's what it turned out to be. A lot of people began to work from home. Some folks always came into the office because we actually never shut the offices down. And that is the way we are today. It's, get your work done, be as productive as you can, and it's your choice. So we didn't really have any issues with that.
Yeah. So you don't have you must be in the office 3 days a week thing?
No, we say today, it's important to serve the stores 100%. So whatever that takes.
Yeah. During the height of COVID, when many people were masking, some people were very much against it. It was interesting to me to watch at the two H-E-Bs that I have, a Central Market near me and also a regular H-E-B. That H-E-B was trying to balance those things and had a sign saying, "We strongly recommend that you wear a mask in the store," and you're trying to look out for your partners. But knowing that some people wouldn't, you also had those plexiglass barriers at the checkout, and it seemed to me, you can tell me if this is true, that the folks who did the restocking were doing that at hours that weren't as busy, when there weren't as many people around where they could stay distant. So can you talk about how you balance those things?
Absolutely. So we talk about the preparation for COVID. We had, I cannot tell you, countless conversations about what are we going to do for our partners. So our partners were always number one. Like, how are we going to keep them safe? Because that's more important than anything. So we did. We encouraged people to wear masks. We had masks at the front and gave it to people. And not everyone took it. Some people were like, no, thank you. And we were one of the first retailers to put up the plexiglass because we thought if we can't ensure that our customers are going to wear it, we have to ensure the safety of our partners because they're paramount to everything that we do. And I think the partners really appreciated it. I think the customers appreciate it. And we serve all Texans. So, people have different beliefs, as you know, on mask, vaccine, all of that. But we know that we had to keep our partners safe. We actually even instituted a new position in the store during that period of time called the COVID Action Manager, who made sure that everything ran smooth and the sanitation was happening, because there's a lot of extra protocols you have to put in place during that time that was new, just to ensure the safety of our partners and the safety of our customers, and of course the sanitation of the products that we create.
Yeah. Well, speaking of serving all Texans, it's Pride Month. There was a story in the San Antonio Report this morning about some folks being upset that H-E-B was, celebrating Pride Month, had Pride Month items, had, what's that slogan y'all were using? Y'all means all?
Y'all means all. That's a slogan on one of the bags, yes.
Yeah. But some people are upset about that. How do you balance that?
We're a Texas-based company, and we are passionate about serving all Texans. And that means all Texans. And we sell the products that our customers want. All of Texas, right? So we do believe that each and every person counts. We have that as one of our things that we say for our partners and for our customers. And so it's important to serve all parts of the community. And that's who we are, and that's what we do. But also know that everyone's not going to be happy with everything, but we're committed to the state of Texas and to serving everyone.
Yeah. We we talked earlier about HEB sourcing as much as it can within Texas. And, when I first got here 15 years ago, it was surprising to me how many of those things there were. Like, I thought, okay, beef, of course, seafood, yeah. Shiitake mushrooms. I mean, do you go find someone to do that? How does that work?
So we source as much as we can locally in our communities and in Texas, but we do get, there's lots of items in HEB that do not come from Texas, but a majority of it comes from here. And we're really proud to say that we support so many small business owners and small farmers and small producers. We actually have a contest called the Quest for Texas Best. Have you all heard of it? And we go around and people can apply for it, and then we pick these products that are new and small businesses, and then they actually get the opportunity to get on the shelves, which is really hard to do, to get on the shelf because you're competing with a lot of other items. But we know that we're Texas first. And that we have a lot of farmers here, we have a lot of producers here, and it's also that palate. You can get salsa here, or you can get salsa someplace else. Where are you going to buy your salsa? Are you going to buy your salsa that was made in Texas? There used to be that commercial that said, "Where did you get your salsa from?" I can't remember it now. That's right. That's right. It's marketing works, y'all. So we have the flavors, we have the palate. And so do the producers. So, and also, if you think about it, if you can produce things here and we get it to our distribution center, how much fresher is that product than something that you procure elsewhere? But we do procure all over the world.
Yeah, one of my friends, his greatest goal in life, this was when I worked at Rackspace, and his side hustle was making salsa.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, okay, this is going to be entirely grilled. Everything in it is going to be done over charcoal grill. And, he brought it to one of those deals where you can audition a product.
Yes.
And he got feedback like, it's too smoky. Okay, I'm going to make it less smoky. Okay, the chunks are too big. I'm going to make them smaller. And he's in there now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it works. That's cool. You have been at HEB for 32 years now. And I imagine you have had offers from, bigger national companies. What keeps you at HEB?
First, I want to say, I'm only 35 years old. I just wanted to put that out there because I know people saying 32 years are adding it up. I just wanted to put that to rest. The laws were different then. The laws were very different back then.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is amazing to me that I've been there for 32 years. But I really firmly believe, for one, I never really had a reason to strongly look anywhere else. I think before you get another job, you have to kind of have a desire to see what else is out there. People say, well, you were never curious. I'm in HR, been in HR for most of my career at HEB. I interview a lot of people. I know the pay scales. I know the cultures. You talk to people about what it is. I don't really feel like I missed out on anything else, and HEB has always treated me very well. And the other thing is, you can have almost any career that you want at HEB if you're a hard performer and you're a good performer and a hard worker. So I feel like my career has progressed. I've done so many different things. I've worked in marketing, I've worked in stores, I've worked in HR, manufacturing, warehouse, transportation, stores. I've lived in Austin, I've lived in Houston, I've lived in Dallas, I've lived in San Antonio. And y'all know that Texas is the size of most countries, right? So even though I've only been in Texas, I've been all around, and I can be my authentic self at work every single day. And I'm a little weird, y'all. So that's a thing. Like, people will accept you the way you are. So when you have that, why would you want to work anywhere else? Why would you want to look anywhere else? Why would you want to go anywhere else? And that's the truth. It's hard for me to know. I don't have anything against folks that go from job to job to job, because I think a lot of folks do that now. But I've never had the desire, and I've been every day has not been rosy, and every year hasn't been the best. But overall, I've had the best experience of my entire life. In my life here, and some of my best friends are here. Some of the people knew me. I started working here when I was 21, so maybe not 3. And you think about all of the experiences you have from 21 to now 35. Lots of things can happen in those years, and those are the same people that are there. I have some folks that started with me on my very first day, who I still work with today. Yeah. And that's a true story. So you think about how special is that? This is my family.
Yeah. So you're the group vice president for talent, and I'm very curious how much harder your job is made by, bless their hearts, our legislators on issues like abortion rights, transgender issues, book bans, voter suppression. They're handing you a load to lift, right? I mean, as you're trying to bring people in from out of state, keep people here.
Yeah, I feel like Texas is a great place to live. And sometimes you see things that happen from legislatures that are very divisive, but those of us who live here, we are really not a divisive state. We really are a big family. So we have different opinions and people think differently, but thank goodness HEB is a company that really, we want to appeal to everyone. And if you think about having 140,000 employees, we employ everyone in all kinds of backgrounds. So the Texas legislation does what it needs to do, and then HEB does what we need to do to make sure that we're serving Texans as best we can.
Yeah. Well, I see we're at time, Mayerland. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and for being here today.
Thank you.